Green Lantern 19, Jeremy Adams writing with Auclair Albert, Jason Paz, and Fernando Pasarin on the art. So this is starting kind of our next arc here of Green Lantern. And I'm happy to say I really like this issue.
Jeremy Adams, stop being so good at your job. Please.
I mean, I like that it paired things back. It's like, let's take some personal time with the characters. So, you know, Carol's helping the Justice League when she's on the Justice League, I should say, even. Yep. And, you know, like, Hal comes to help out a little bit, and they start flirting, which pisses off Batman. and Wonder Woman and Superman give him shit for it.
Just the constant heat of Batman and Hal Jordan. If that's something that always is happening, I'll love it.
Yeah, but it's a fun little moment, but it's basically like Hal and Carol talking about what they're doing, and Carol says she's going to stay on Earth with the Justice League because it's helping her be a better hero. She's learning a lot from working with them, and Hal says that's a great idea. But hey, if you've still got that connection to me, so if you sense something's wrong, come out and save my ass, will you? And she's like, yeah, of course. And then they have a quickie while they're waiting, because Kyle's off rounding up some other team members. So Carol's like, hey, we've got time for a little bit of fun. Let's go do that. Which obviously leads me to my other happy point, is that, hey, Kyle's co-starring in the book today, which I also enjoy.
And we'll get there. Kyle has a new best friend.
Yes, he's got a couple of friends. Because the next thing we get is him going to recruit Odyssey, the Time Bandit, a character I totally know.
She's brand new.
Oh, she's brand new. Okay, fair enough.
The way that Jeremy Adams wrote this, though, I was like, oh, what obscure, you know, 80s thing did this come from, or from the 90s with Kyle? It was
the same with the villain we've got just now, the boat breaker. What was his name? Heartbreak? No.
I almost said Angel Breaker, but that's Batgirl.
Yeah, Superman. Or Batman.
It's a vampire dude.
Yeah, the vampire. Whatever. We'll get to his name later. Anyway, but he did turn it to be a thing, just from like a less interesting.
And so as far as I know, Odyssey's a new character, but cool. I will appreciate Adams making it feel like, you know, from an era, right? Because this felt like something from Kyle's past. He talks about her.
I like how fresh some of this stuff feels. It feels, because it's not just we're building a team of Green Lanterns. We've got this character coming in, and Kyle mentions that her partner or her, was that a sibling? Maybe I can't remember. I have to go back and check the dialogue. But it's like, hey, like, because of your partner, you're the perfect person to come enjoy this team. You know, so she's resistant at first, and it's like, hey, you escaped your cells, but because you can escape your cell is why you're such a good candidate for this. So yeah, we get that, and we get the really funny scene afterwards where they show up in Australia, and these two guys are like, oh, this guy fell out the sky, and then Odyssey and Kyle just sort of pop up beside them, and they both freak out and like fall to the ground. I thought that was quite funny. That was good pacing.
I just love the way that they're staring into the hole and we're looking up from the bottom of the hole. Yeah. You know, and then they're just there, and the way that Kyle has his hands on his knees, it's just a kind of, again, it's Kyle showing character.
It feels very eager. Like he's just like, oh, what are you looking at? It's like he's an excited kid. Oh, what are you looking at down here? I got a chuckle out of that. And then it turns out, of course, that they're there for someone. I don't even know who this guy's name is. You
don't know? You don't remember?
Some super character, maybe. I don't know. I'm confused, Matt.
You forget Connors a lot.
Yeah, it's Connor Kent. Connor Kent's in Green Lantern, much to my dismay. But he's here. Total absolute beefcake shot. It's like, buddy, put your shirt on. Oh yeah, he's got his shirt off.
No one needs to see this.
Yeah, Kyle has to put up an umbrella with his Green Lantern ring because of the big splash that he's just made with the water. And
Odyssey looks like she's enjoying it.
Yeah, Odyssey looks like she's into him, so there might be a bit of a flirtation or a romance blossoming from this potentially. So we'll see where that goes. Yes. Kyle brings these two recruits to meet with Hal, and they've got a ship, of course, because they're not all Green Lanterns, so they need a ship. And Hal kisses Carol goodbye. It's all really. I really enjoy this as a setup, because it was like, hey, this is the recruiting the team issue. We're setting up some of these new. Not that Connor's a new character, but he's new in this book, so we're taking a bit of time to set him up and establish the relationship he's got with Kyle, which is kind of nice. So. Yeah, And their mission, of course, is to go, because the rest of the Green Lanterns are dealing with everything going on. They're going to go to the, was it the Source Wall they're going to?
It's a mess right now across the galaxy, right? Because of Theros, one of them. The guy that was controlling the Green Lanterns.
Not Varus, Theron.
Okay. He's completely, messed everything up with the amount of lanterns that are left and so they're predisposed. So like John Stewart's dealing with all that aspect.
So the main mission for our team here is that they're going to try and get the book back and stop this new power battery from being built, so that the entire emotional spectrum doesn't get completely screwed up. That was the other part of the Hal and Carol's talk, was Hal telling her who Sorrow is, and her being like, wait, what? He's an ex-fiance. He's not like some weird super villain. And but notably doesn't feel guilty for too long that she might have broken him, because then they have a quickie. So
she's like, oh, anyways, any whoosies.
It's the whole thing. So we're back to the villain next. Starbreaker, that was it. Because he proudly announces that he's got a Starbreaker core that he's built, with a lot of people wearing very similar outfits to him coming flying through this big star portal.
The Dracula capes. Yeah, it's great. These are the big high collar,
Yes, very colorful. A lot of purple, greens, and yellows coming through here. It's interesting. I mean, I don't know how I feel about this villain yet, but I certainly,
he's like mustache twirling evil villain, and I love it.
Yes, because I think what they're going for here is that he's going to be more of a comic book villain, whereas Sorrow is going to be the one we actually feel some sort of complex emotions for, because he's actually just a regular guy who's been driven to this.
Yeah, there's way more empathy for him, right, with the Sorrow, right? Because even as he's on the ground in front of Starbreaker, right, he's like, please, no more pain, no more misery. And you're just like, oh, man, get up. You're making a fool of yourself, right? So, like, there's a piece of there that we want what's best for him.
Yeah. So we're on the ship with the main team. They're on their way. And John messages them saying, hey, one of the anomalies, one of these like emotional spectrum anomalies where someone's just developed powers without a ring is nearby. So Hal decides that he's going to go off and deal with that, and he'll meet up with the rest of the team, at their goal. So he goes down to this planet that's nearby, finds a bunch of aliens that have been killed, and the final page is a big alien dude, wielding red lantern energy. Again, no ring, just he's just emanating it, and he's got a big red lantern hammer in his hand, and he's like, oh, they deserved it, they made me so mad, and to be continued. So I really dug kind of the setup stuff here. I thought it's slowing down, not having too many characters. I like that a couple of supporting cast members have been added, because I think one of the pitfalls that Green Lantern sometimes falls into is that it feels that we're just following the one character, and it doesn't let there be supporting cast, which is kind of ironic given how many Green Lanterns there are. So I appreciate this.
And I like when they widen the net too, and you get some characters that normally wouldn't be associated. Like, there's no reason that Connor can't go on a space adventure.
Oh, sure. I actually really like when there's one or two non-Lantern characters. I think one of the problems with like later Johns and definitely post Johns Green Lantern stuff is that there's just tons of lanterns, and I think having Carol, and obviously Carol's a lantern now technically, but having just a regular person like Carol be a supporting recurring cast member is part of why I really was digging the first couple of arcs in this book. It was like, hey, that human heart is there. And having Odyssey, who is this interesting new character, and Connor being there for just for different dynamics, having Kyle be a regular character. Because I assume if Kyle's in this book, I assume Kyle's not in Core. And then Core will focus on some of the other John, maybe Jess,
that's
some
gonna
others.
Be John's more procedural book, right? Him getting the core in order. Yeah. And this feels more like space adventure-y stuff. And I'm here for that. I like the space adventure aspect of, because it's not quite cosmic DC that I really like. I feel like it's more the Green Lantern side of things. But you remember that book a little while ago that had Jess in it? I think it was Justice League Odyssey. It had Starfire.
Yeah.
Cyborg. Yeah. That's the kind of stuff that I like, going off into the, the unknown, on this type of mission.
Yeah,
so I mean, that kind of gives me those vibes.
That was years and years ago now, but I mean that was the sort of thing where because Cedric was meant to be doing the art, it was like a really exciting thing, but he left after 2 issues, and then it kind of went downhill.
It kind of lost its identity. Here, I trust Adams enough to keep the identity of space adventure. You know?
There's no reason to worry because this isn't arc one of a new book. This is he's already done kind of a saga of arcs already. So this is like we know he's here for the long haul. Yeah. And he casually mentions his Aquaman book at the start of this as well to say, hey, go read my other book that's happening right now. Aquaman's happening.
And he's doing Green Lantern Corps as well, is he? Or is that
he's co-writing, so I'm assuming that he's plotting at least. And the other person's writing the script. I don't know that for sure, but it's not just him though on Corps. So maybe makes me think of when like Tynion was helping Snyder write some Batman stuff, where it was kind of like, hey, here's your assistant writer to come in and you know shape and take over the other thing. But cool. So hopefully Green Lantern Corps works out well, because we'll see how that issue 1 is in the next few weeks.
Adams has just turned into this consistent, not turned into, but for me, when I see the name attached, I'm like, I feel like we're in good hands. And it might not always be like the best, you know, that we're constantly raving over it, but it's consistent. And I just have I have very fond memories of his Flash run, right?
You know how we talk about house style art? I feel like Adams is kind of the equivalent for writing. He's good house writing, right? He's not going to wow me in the same way that like a great Ram V existential book is going to. But if give him a superhero that we like, he's going to do some solid superhero stuff with them. I
mean, look at that Jay Garrick book, right? Like it was good. Like nothing amazing. Some people might even forget about it, but like as a Flash fan, it hit a lot of good points.
It was definitely more forgettable than his Green Lantern run, or even his main, Wally run on Flash. But but I do think his Green Lantern's better than his Flash, though. So I do think he's trending upwards. Yeah. And we'll see how the Aquaman book goes once it gets, because when the Aquaman book basically like only teased what it was actually going to be by the end of that first issue. So we'll have to wait and see how it actually feels during its main story.
House style writer sounds like a insult, but it's definitely a compliment as far as I'm concerned.
Because I think I mean in a good way, where it's like really solid, dependable hand. But I mean, again, we'll see. So, all right, what are you giving Green Lantern?
I'm gonna give it an 8.5. The art, we didn't really talk on the art too much. It's fine, but the story enough pushes it for me. Like there's some good breakdowns and whatnot, but sometimes what was it, OCLAIR Albert, it's a taste thing. So but yeah, I'll give it an 8.5.
Yeah, well, I mean, having 3 different artists on the book is inherently going to have a consequence. I generally liked it though. I didn't find myself having too many problems. I thought the facial expressions were pretty on point with Hal and Carol. I quite like the stuff with Kyle and Odyssey. If anything, the only real, I mean, even the stuff with the villain, I thought was solid enough. Yeah, I mean, honestly, like the art to go along with what I said about the writer is very solid house style, pretty much.
Yeah.
So, yeah, okay. Are we rating it?
8.5.
I will agree with the 8.5. I'll be boring and just say the same number, but it sounds right.